did by Rim, who's very livid, and so is her tail. Just look at that tail, it's mad. Diablo and the group sit in Sylvie's office, where she assigns the group on a special request from a commission specialized for Diablo. The person who submitted the request was Celeste, and is believed to be related to one of her subordinates' recent misbehavior towards the group. Rim states that she doesn't want to accept it due to her being indebted to Celeste anyways, and she feeling a little guilty because of it. But Diablo insists that he go with them, or without Rim. Once that is settled, Shera reads the details involving the quest, and it's simply a delivery request anyways, where they have to deliver some reinforcements to the bridge of Urg. Right before Diablo and the others were about to leave the Adventurers Guild, a man known as Emil stops them and confronts Diablo. Hauntingly, Emil introduces himself as not only a superhuman level 40 warrior, but a protector of all women, and he challenges Diablo to a duel. Although Diablo is impressed by Emil's personality, he acts in a way like his game persona, and taunts Emil. He in turn declares his love for all women, and he will save those enslaved girls from Diablo's villainous hands, while Rim and Shera are just confused. Wasting no time, Emil uses his sword ability, Sword Smite, against Diablo, but he simply parries the blow with his wand. For the next move, Emil tries to use another sword skill called Alp's Fall, but is knocked out by Diablo before he could do so. Contemplating on the disparity of skill levels of the people of this world from the original game, Diablo concludes that Emil is just an idiot. Up again, Emil tries to attack Diablo, to only be stopped by Rim and Shera, to explain the situation to Emil. Now privy to the whole situation, Emil simply laughs it off, and then he walks off in a gleeful manner. Honestly, not that bad of a guy. Afterwards, Diablo and Shera head off for the quest, and on the way there, Shera suggests that they take a little dip nearby, in a river. Flustered by the situation, Diablo rejects the notion, and they continue forth. Reaching the bridge of Olge, they're stopped by a group of soldiers who mistake Diablo for a fallen. However, one of the soldiers named Boris recognizes him as the horned demon everyone has been talking about in town. The two then learn from Boris that a fallen with a large army of demons is heading this way. Knowing this sort of event, noting that this never occurs in the game, Diablo wonders what exactly has triggered this. Furthermore, Diablo takes notes that all the soldiers stationed at this bridge have such a low level, the demons would just simply break through the bridge. On the other hand, the demonic invasion wouldn't be able to damage Fultra City due to the barrier that's erected there. Shera then chimes in, saying that the invasion could be related to the demons wanting to resurrect Krepskull. Diablo figures that they must be aware of Rim's seal. Boris then gives Diablo a notice of gratitude for their delivery, and after hearing Boris' anxiety, Diablo simply volunteers to stay there and fend off the invasion, knowing they would probably likely all die. At the end, Celeste informs Rim that she's discharged Galleu for all of his recent actions. The subject then changes to Diablo's background, and how Celeste is suspicious around him, wondering if he's a fallen, rather than this so-called demon lord from another world. Rim refuses the notion, defending Diablo not being a fallen, remembering he did promise her to stay by her side. Just then, a hysterical Galleu arrives into the scene, with his hands all bloodied, demanding to hear from Celeste that he wasn't fired from the Mage Association, right? Galleu was about to stab himself with a black demonic dagger. Rim tries to stop him from summoning a shadow snake. This fails though, and Galleu still manages to stab himself, and then he transforms into the fallen Gregor. I thought his name was simply just Greg. I'm gonna call him Greg. Meanwhile, Diablo continues fighting against the demon invaders until the commander of the demons, named Edelgard, confronts him, and the two of them begin their fight. Refugees head into Fultra, believing that they'll be safe here from the incoming demon invaders because of Celeste's barrier that's erected over the city. Unknowns to them, she was in quite the pickle because of her former subordinate, Galleu, turned into a fallen and now calls himself Greg. Rim and Celeste escape from the Peace of Mind Inn, which is quite the funny name now, and they run into a dead end. How? You literally had to keep running on the street, you would be fine. Greg confronts the two of them, and Rim summons Ocelai. However, the summon is easily beaten with a single punch. From the sky, Emil lands nearby Rim, while a large group of adventurers arrive to help them. Emil then fights against Greg, but despite all his gusto and spirit, he's defeated, but he stubbornly keeps fighting, following his creed to "The White Knight Champion will not fall." Meanwhile, at the bridge, Diablo's fight against Edelgard continues, stating the futility of Edelgard's attack against him. Edelgard prepares to use Sacrifice Charge against Diablo, but is ineffective. Astonished that her special attack had no effect on him, Edelgard is taunted by Diablo, who knows that her attack was the first time he's ever been damaged here in this world. Just then, Board notifies Diablo that Vulture City has been invaded by a Fallen that is attacking Celeste and Rim. How does he know this? Realizing the dire situation, Diablo then casts a grand magic spell. Okay, what's the name of the spell? And he warns Edelgard to withdraw, or he'll cast it. Diablo casts White Nova, which eviscerates the surrounding area, including the demon army. Although heavily wounded, Edelgard manages to survive, and wasting no time, Diablo uses his magic spell, called Return, and he along with Shera teleport back to the town. By the time Greg has already defeated the adventurers that surrounded him, and a heavily wounded Emil who refuses to back down, just then, Diablo arrives, casting wind magic on Greg, sending him back. Before starting his battle with Greg, Diablo thanks Emil for all of his effort, and he reassures him that he'll take him down for him. He then gives Celeste a healing potion to treat Emil's wounds while he confronts Greg. Starting the fight, Greg casts Dark Bullet, but the spell is instantly reflected back at Greg. With this being because of Diablo's ring, Diablo then uses his own Dark Bullet spell to break off all of Greg's protective skin. In retaliation, Greg uses Dark Press. However, that move is then reflected back onto Greg, and Diablo then casts multiple Dark Press onto his own. The gravitational force of the attack is able to pin Greg to the ground, who then begs for mercy, but Diablo then reminds him about the beginning of the fight. In this dialogue scene, Diablo already told him that no matter how much he begged for it, mercy would never come to him, and Diablo reminds him of this, as he shows him none. He then finishes off Greg with a magical spell, Naraku. With the fight now over, Shera tearfully embraces Diablo, and Rim grabs Diablo's hand, thanking him for saving her. Trying to act in character, Diablo proclaims that the only reason why he helped Rim was because she belongs to him, which she somehow likes, which somehow makes her feel good. Eventually, we're made aware of the death toll of the attack on the city, and the majority of the lives lost were adventurers. 10 days later after the attack, Diablo rests on his bed, and is nearly courted by Shera, that means she wanted to do it, who is then stopped by Rim, who drop kicks her. This causes the two of them to latch onto Diablo's arms, until Sylvia arrives in their room. She informs the group that the lord of their city has given a non-negotiable ultimatum to hand over Shera within 10 days, or war will be waged against the elves. Hence, the lord of their city has requested Diablo to prevent a war from occurring. Yikes. What's gonna happen next? Will Diablo be able to prevent a war from happening? Will Sylvie ever put on some pants? Is Diablo about to get laid? Find out next time on Anime to Watch. The end. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. I make videos about random anime. Bye.